Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here today with a Scrap Lift Crafternoon where some of my fabulous friends pick a layout and we scrap lift it. Today's scrap lift is this one by City Scrapper and it is full of mixed media and gorgeousness. So here is a better view of this layout by City Scrapper, and it is fantastic. Her Instagram is City Scrapper as well as her YouTube channel. Definitely need to check that out. Lots of borders or strips that she had trimmed and inked, lots of mixed media. I am definitely doing some mixed media. This is the picture I'm scrapbooking. It has the sunrise in the background and my kids walking to school. I decided that I would use this Buenos Dias collection because I have a ton of branding strips that I'd love to use up. I don't throw them away as long as I know that they can be used. And so I also have a bunch of Buenos Dias collection just epoxies and acrylics and stickers and puffy stickers and papers. And then I have these two Paper Studios florals. I'm not going to use the purple, but the pinks, that tealy color, and the green will go well with this collection. And so then I also have my Ranger Tim Holtz inks. And I hadn't pulled out what colors I wanted to use yet, but I will pull 4 different colors that I'm going to use, and I will go over those when I get to that part. So I don't do as much mixed media as she does, but I definitely get some on there. So I've got all of these awesome Buenos Dias collection things, some inks, my picture, and this amazing layout. So let's see how this goes. So in her video, she starts by building this layers or base of strips. And she's super smart and she uses a piece of paper to build it on. I normally just put it on the page and then I have to maneuver and I tear my page and, those kinds of fabulous things. So I'm learning from her and I got this piece of scrap paper and just put some double-sided adhesive down and just start putting the strips down. And originally I thought I was going to do it like in a rainbow order, but really the sunrise in the behind my kids is not, in a rainbow colors. It's like pinks and oranges and blues and just kind of little hodgepodge. So I decided I would just take the strips that are incorporated in this sunrise and lay them down. And these are all branding strips from the collection. And I just want to make sure it's big enough to house my picture. And yes, there are little holes from where some of them came from the project pad. But as you can see with the picture, they're going to get covered. So I don't have a problem with that. I pull this paper out of the project pad and it just looks like a sunrise or a sunset all in itself. So I thought it would be a great background. So I get my little pencil, and this is another thing she does. She just marks in general where her design is or her paper stat layers. That way she can get the ink to where it needs to be and not waste a bunch. So the very first one I start with is Salty Ocean, and I'm going to put that up at the top because this is the color scheme of what is going on in the background of this picture of my kids. And this is one of my favorite pictures, is my kids walking to school. My daughter she was in high school. She was walking my son to elementary school. Little did she know that her day was not going to end any good way. This is the day my dad died. And this was kind of like that, last moment of normalcy in our family. But I just love this picture. So I did spray my ink with some water just like she does in her video. And then the next color I pull out is the Carved Pumpkin. And while this paper is, look at that spill I made. This paper is already orange. The orange does stand out. I just pull it from the puddle on my mat because there's no point in wasting all of it. So I use as much as I need off the mat, and then just get a paper towel and wipe up the rest of it. So, you know, accidents happen. This is honestly the first time I've made a spill like that since I started using mixed media and making videos. So it's pretty impressive for me. If you know me at all, I'm kind of clumsy and messy, and my fingers at this time, when I'm done with this video, are multicolored, and that's not surprising. So after I get done with the orange, I do the mustard seed, which is a lot harder to see. I do go back and sprinkle it in like you see me doing right now. And then I do the picked raspberry on the bottom. And I do go back with all 4 colors and tap them out a little so there's a little bit of a more bold color on all 4 colors. And then I tack down the strips. And I really do, mine is not as big as hers. Hers comes out a lot further. But I like the way that this turned out. So I'm okay with that. So I use this scrap from the Buenos Dias collection. I'm looking to see which part of this paper I'm not going to need as much. And those little windows are something that I don't have a need for right now. So I just put my picture over there because the other ones are like journaling squares and some phrases that might come in handy in the future. So I'd want to use this as best as I can. So then I double mat it with the solid black so the black will really pop off the page and just accentuate the picture, which is the focus of the page. So I get that down on there, and then I'm going to mat that. And I thought about popping it up on foam. I think she does that. I've watched this video multiple times, but I'm going to be honest with you all. We literally just got home right before I started recording this from a 10-hour drive from the beach. I know you don't feel sorry for me because I was at the beach, but I'm tired. But that's okay. So I get that down, and I'm tapping my fingers because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. And pull out these Paper Studios florals because that is the reason that I picked this picture and these papers, because I really wanted to use these florals. I just got these from my friend Sarah, and I love them, and so I wanted to incorporate something that was going to work with this. So I just start putting like a cluster in the bottom corner. Now on her sketch, on her layout, she puts in the bottom corner of the picture and the top right corner of the picture. I am going to use the top right corner of the picture, but I do the bottom left corner of the stripes or the strips of paper for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to cover too much of the picture, and 2, I made a little boo-boo down there, so it worked out perfectly fine, and I do love the way that it turned out. So then I turn it and start working on that top corner. I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere them down, and I love that they are flat on the back so that they will stick and go down really easy. And I just put a cluster of 3 in the bottom of the big ones, and a cluster of 3 of the big ones at the top, and a couple of the smaller ones as well. And it's not a matter of being even. I do even out like the coloring, like a pink one and a blue one and a green one. I pulled these Paper Studios Recollections butterflies out 3 times before I finally say I'm going to use them. But I keep setting them aside because the color scheme is not exactly what I've got. But I'll end up pulling them in. Spoiler alert. So on her sketch, or her layout, I keep saying sketch because I've just done 2 months of sketches. On her layout, she has a little, a few strips up in the top left corner. And so I pulled the same papers that I've already used, which I believe is what she did as well, and just tuck those up here. And then I'm going to cut the excess off, and I'm going to use that as a place for another cluster of the cute little flowers. I just love them. And I just put one big one up there because I don't want to overtake and hide the entire cluster of those papers. But I did want to make sure to get 3 or 4 of the florals up there. I'm going to add one more, I think, up there too. Another blue one. And I just love the way that they look. They're dimensional and they're very bright and colorful. So on her layout, she has some word phrases at the bottom. So I pull this first long one off that says, "No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart." And then I'll pull 2 smaller ones off. One says, "Be you bravely," and one says, "Look on the bright side." And I just was trying to find phrases, and I did them in black because it would go with the black that I'm pulling in with the matte, as well as I'm going to matte something else in black in just a minute. And I used some double-sided tape to get those down because sometimes some of my Tim Holtz phrases stick really well and some of them start to come up on the corners, so I just double-sided tape them. I get out the acrylics and I put this floral bunch at the bottom left corner of the picture because that way I'm not covering too much, but I am bringing in that floral and I really like the way that looks. I add an acrylic up in the top, an acrylic heart in the top, an acrylic heart in the bottom, and then I add a little, it's not epoxy, but just says stickers on the little thing, but they're like epoxies. And I put a little heart up there in that top cluster. And then I pull some of the puffies off, and I'm going to put a puffy flower in each of the 3 clusters as well. And they have stems, and I'm fine with that. I just tuck the stem in. You can see them a little bit in the cluster, but I'm okay with that. I put this other little circular epoxy on the top cluster that has a little camera on it. It's very small, and I mean, I can see it in person, but on video, you can't really see that. And I put a little heart in this bottom cluster, and I'm going to move that in a little while, but it is still visible. But I'm going to put a word phrase down there and put it on top of that. And then this is the puffy stickers I'm tucking in. I just love these puffy stickers. They're so stinking cute. I love Obed Marshall. He just makes some fantastic things. And then I pulled a puffy sticker that says "Together," and I put that up there on City Scrapper's layout. She has a phrase across there that says "Autumn" at the top. And so because my whole motif right there is smaller, I thought that the smaller word phrase would work really well. Plus, it is very fitting for this picture. So I want to put some little leafy sprigs coming out, and I pulled some of my Jolie's by You and originally had some green ones. And I really didn't like that because it's going to be completely different than the green that's in the paper. And then I found these other light colored ones that I had, and so I just tuck, I think 5 of them in the bottom left, 3 in the top right, and then 2 in the top cluster up at the top left. And now I'm going to pull the butterflies out again and finally start using them. So I put this white one here, it's not white, it's framed in white, and it's got gold and pink and yellow, and I feel like it matches well. And then I just take a couple of the gold ones and put them, one in the top left cluster, one in the top right cluster, and then 2 down by the word phrases. And then I'm going to put this one here to cover. There's a little spot right there that does not have any mixed media. So I thought I'd put that one butterfly there. And then I realized that really large butterfly has the colors that I'm looking for. The tealy aqua, the pink, all the colors that are already on this layout. And I decided I'm going to use that. Not yet, obviously. So I put the little one back, and I take the bigger one, put it on black paper, and fussy cut around it so it's got a thin black border. And then I pop it up on foam. It's the only dimension, I guess the flowers in that one acrylic floral. But the pictures, since I did not put the picture up on foam, I figured that putting this butterfly up on foam would be good. And I'm going to put that right there where that gap is and cover that up. Yay! So then I realized I don't have a title. I'm going to try and figure out what I want to do. So looking at it and trying to decide, I honestly considered using the word together as my title, which would totally work. Then I pull out my project pad and I pull this little gold strip that says love it. And then I pull this bigger piece that says remember this. And I decide that that is going to be my title, and I'm going to tuck it in by that butterfly. And just checking to make sure there was nothing else I wanted to add. So I put some double-sided tape on the back of this Love It. I've looked all over the page, like I put it everywhere, and finally settled on tucking it in underneath this floral. And then I move the little epoxy heart to where it's on top of the Love It, but you can still see the words. And look at my gray-blue hair. Oh my gosh. Oh. I dyed my hair blue, and now it's starting to fade into green. It's fabulous. I'm trying to decide if I want that there. I decide that that is exactly what I wanted. So I pat that down, and I think I'm done. So I did not do as much mixed media as City Scrapper did, but after the crazy week I've had, it is the best I've got, but I do love the way that it turned out. So I hope you all will check out Kimberly from I'd Rather Be Scrapbooking and Christine Hardin. Their links will be below. Also City Scrapper, who is absolutely amazing and makes some fantastic layouts. All the links will be below for all of them. And I hope you'll join me next week for another Scrap Lift Crafternoon. And I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Have a great night and happy scrapping.